Welcome to TORAH Talk. I'm your host, William Hall, broadcasting live out of Kingsland, Texas, USA, with another episode of TNT, the Twisted New Testament, with Rabbi Stuart Federow from Houston, Texas. Rabbi, welcome back. Good to see you again, sir. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just to let everybody know, sorry I forgot to change the title on the YouTube page. Just ignore the title. I'll edit it later. Y'all know why you're here. We know why we're here, and the phone lines are pumping, man. We got all the phone line issues fixed, I'm pretty sure. I would love to have the first caller prove me on that. So put the number on your screen right about now and give us a call, 855-952-4253. That's 855-95-BIBLE in case you're on the road and all you have is your cell phone with no letters on the digits. Rabbi, man, oh man, let's get going. I'm excited. Hey, I want to bring up and a shout out to Alicia Rosenkrantz. She is I hope I said that right. I say that every time, and she never corrected me, so I'm guessing that I did. But anyway, she has brought up something that she has seen, like going over the internet and through the medias and stuff like this. This guy named Lee Strobel, he's got this book that he wrote called The Case for Christ and The Case for Christ 2, right? And so she's actually going to watch this whole thing and actually pick certain topics out of it and send me the list. But I thought it'd be kind of cool just to touch base on that whole idea of a case for Christ, a case for, for them, Christ is Savior of the world. But for Jews, it's Messiah, for the anointed one, or anointed ones, for example. So maybe that'll be a good place to start off with.
What did you just say?
Anointed one or anointed ones, Moshiach.
Is what?
Messiah.
The word Messiah. Okay,
yeah,
fine.
Right. Not Christ, but that's their, yeah.
Right.
So let me get you up a little. Let me talk to me a little bit, Rabbi. Tell us how you're doing.
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing better now. I can hear you more.
Oh, okay. Let there be sound.
Let there be sound. Yes. Very good. Very good. Awesome, man. Okay, cool. I won't be able to edit I could edit the title now, but it'll still say the same, I think. So with that said, the case for Christ, it's really interesting. I actually saw it years ago. Saw a movie. I think there was a movie called The Case for Christ or something like that. And, of course, at the time, I completely, me and my wife was like, oh, that was so awesome. Wow, you can really, and I'm not being facetious. I'm just saying that's how I was. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. Right. Basically, this atheist guy was trying to prove his wife wrong because he didn't believe in New Testament at all. And the more he researched it and the more he was trying to do it, well, he said he was researching, then all of a sudden he became a believer and a follower. And I think I have seen an actual him host a debate that in my mind I was thinking it might have been with Rabbi Singer and someone else, but maybe not. I don't know. But
what happened basically is that Lee Strobel had, I forgot who on his show, and they also had Rabbi Singer on the show asking both of them the same questions. I saw the broadcast.
So it was Rabbi Singer.
It was Rabbi Singer. I saw the broadcast, and I'd like to know what was edited out. I'd like to know. I'd like to know more about what Rabbi Singer said that somehow just didn't make it to the screen. It was an interesting exchange, and it's on YouTube somewhere.
I was thinking so too. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's where I saw it at. But there were times where I just thought it was an interesting exchange. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, cool. Well, let's take this first caller. Caller, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name and why you are calling us. I'm just kidding. Where are you calling from? Oh, hold on. I got to turn the music down. Okay, there we go. Got you covered.
Okay, hi. My name is Shivy. I'm calling from Lakewood, and I just wanted to say that, I was with Rabbi Singer, and, we were singing Boban. You were singing Boban. My favorite Boban, my favorite Boban, my favorite Boban.
I'm lost. Oh, these awesome pranksters.
Boban.
What is this song?
Boban, my little Boban.
I can't even hear what he's saying. All I hear is blah, 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 blah.
Hey, you know what? At least we did our sound test. Thank you for that. And that was some quite good entertainment, unless there's something wrong.
What did he say? What was
something
he
about Boban or something. I don't know. But it sounded like a Jewish rhythm melody. I don't know. So move on.
Whatever.
I'm not sure, but anyway, it's cool. We did our sound check. Apparently, he could hear just fine without any echoes. Otherwise, he probably would have stopped singing sooner. So with that said, okay. So the case for Christ, it's obviously an epidemic where people are absolutely confirmed. I'll give you an example. Sunday. During Rabbi Singer's show, that was probably one of the most populated live shows we've had. It was like 84 were watching it at one time. And there was a lot of activity on the text. And there was one lady on there. She wasn't being disrespectful at all. And she wasn't a troll. It looked like one of her friends had or a friend who was coming out of Christianity said, hey, check out TORAH Talk. And so she went there and she was watching and she just started commenting. And the things that she was saying, to me, it was amazing because I used to say the same stuff. But now I look back and thinking this is for me. I'm not saying anybody else is this way, but for me, it was completely uneducated and downright ignorant for me to even claim these things. I mean, I know that now. I didn't know it then, and the more you study, you don't get dumber, you get smarter.
William, let me interrupt you for a minute because I'm not. Don't we get the chat on the YouTube channel?
Yes, we do. Let me see what we got here.
I can't seem to get this broadcast up to see the chats for it.
Okay, let's do this again.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
That's okay. We'll get you guided right through it. Hang on one moment, though. See, live streaming. And there we go. 15 watching. Okay, so what you're going to have to do, let me go back a screen. Actually, it's weird because I only do it from the operator standpoint, so I don't know what for you to look for.
Right,
I know you had the same problem last time. Yeah. If you go to YouTube TORAH Talk channel, you'll see that live video there. You have to click on the video and let it open up the video by itself, and there should be chat available there. So.
But I'm not seeing the video. I'm not seeing anything except
it is
Hebrew
live.
for Fun and Profit.
Yeah, you're gonna have to refresh your screen. That's what it's titled.
I've done that 4 times.
Yeah, it's. Let me see if I can change the title now. So let's move on, and I'll kind of monitor this. I don't know what to tell you. You found it last time because I tried to help you, but I couldn't. But you found it last time after a few minutes. So maybe just keep scrolling around. So going back on this whole case for Christ thing, this lady, her comments on here were. She's like, well, it's very clear. I mean, she says Jesus is absolutely taught by Moses. That Moses prophesied of Jesus and all these claims. And so let's start with that one. Moses prophesied of Jesus. Did Moses prophesy of a Messiah at all?
No.
Okay, so what would be the closest thing you could think of where maybe someone might have confused Moses prophesying? Now, I know that Deuteronomy...
Wait a minute, William. Let me put it this way.
Okay.
Let's go back to the movie for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, and the book and everything else that goes with it. I think it was also a play or something, but the point is that if a person is interested in discovering whether or not someone is the Messiah, don't you think their first question should be, who came up with the term Messiah and where do I go talk to them about it?
That would be a good start.
And I don't know the book. I haven't seen the movie. I'm not interested in seeing the movie. I just can't help but wonder if that's what he did.
Right.
I sincerely doubt it. I think he probably went straight to the Christian's New Testament.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I think he probably went to ministers and maybe even a priest or two, but probably ministers. I don't think he probably gave 2 minutes to a Catholic priest.
Right.
But, I've said this before. If a Martian were to land...
Yeah,
you know where I'm heading.
Absolutely.
I've said it often enough. If a Martian were to land on Earth and go to a motel and check in and then open a drawer, he'd pick out the Gideon Bible placed there by the Gideon Society.
Yeah,
and if he starts in the front of the book, the very first page and reads through it, when he gets to the Christian's New Testament, he's going to be very puzzled by a lot of contradictions to what he just read in the Hebrew Scriptures. But if he starts with the New Testament and then goes back to the Hebrew Scriptures, he'll be looking at the Hebrew Scriptures through Christian-colored glasses, and therefore he will find, it'll make sense to him.
Okay.
If he starts with Judaism, if Lee Strobel had started with Judaism, which frankly I don't know if he did or not,
right.
I just have strong, sincere doubts that he did, I think he'd have had a different response to Christianity when he got to the New Testament.
I couldn't agree more. That's kind of
1 plus 3 equals B says that Jesus made an incredible impact on the earth, so obviously God sent him for some purpose. So in order to have a great impact on the earth, you have to be sent by God. So I guess that means Attila the Hun was sent by God for some purpose. Hinduism, Buddhism still survives, therefore they're here for a purpose. I'm not, the Inquisition was for come on. I'm not sure I would agree with that statement, but 1 plus 3 equals B can see it however he wishes.
Well, I think the part that I draw to his or her statement is this: Jesus has made an incredible impact on the earth. I totally agree. Period. If not for Christianity, I wouldn't be in Judaism now. That's just honest God's truth. I would have never drawn myself to Judaism had there not been some sort of stepping stone. So now, granted, that's not saying he did good. That just means he was used as a tool. Maybe like Buddhism. It maybe if I was in another country, maybe Buddhism would have been the tool. And if then I could actually say, if not for Buddhism, I would have never found God. So I can't say that Jesus was any greater than Buddha in that same regard. And I think that's what Rabbi is saying. It's not that we disagree with you completely. We just disagree with the concept that you're kind of pushing out there. Because many people want to say that Jesus was still a great prophet or he was highly anointed. And honestly, I would never, ever, at this point in my life, ever compare him to even coming close to being as holy as Moshe Rabbeinu, as Moses. He would definitely not a little bit less. Not a little bit less, a lot less. That's my opinion.
Wait a minute. Let me find it again. Here it is. Bama Boy says The Case Against the Case for Christ by Robert Price.
I've seen that, yeah.
Debunks Strobel's book point by point.
That's really nice.
Interesting. I never knew anything about Lee Strobel or his book, and now I didn't know anything about Robert Price and his response.
Right. I got a message the other day.
Good for Robert Price.
I got a message the other day. You know how you've got all these people trying to, these Christian or Messianics trying to debate, like Michael Brown, he's constantly going back with Jews for Judaism with Rabbi Blumenthal, and Blumenthal is very, very graciously answering every one of his claims. And there's been many challenges with Brown. He's trying so desperately to find a platform to get back with Tovia Singer, and I'm like, I agree with Tovia. I wouldn't even give him the time of day, because any publicity is for him is good publicity because it's just more views, more this. Just anytime you want something to die down, you just let it go and just chill, right? And so, somebody said it would be really neat if someone would write a book. Don't have a 5-minute video or an hour video a debate, but an actual book. Write a book. Take a time to write a book to debate everything that Rabbi Singer said or that Rabbi Federow has said. You put it on paper, so we can see it side by side, parallel. If you want to do a debate, that's the way to do it. And nobody wants to though, because it's kind of like
because it's not about the arguments.
That's right. So
when they get a debate, when they do it on video, when Lee Strobel does it with whoever it was with Rabbi Singer, it's not about the debate and the arguments. It's about the audience watching.
Right.
Everything is done for the audience in the room. Everything is done for the audience through the YouTubes and videos. It's who can play to the audience better, who can be the one to get them on their side, and it always is and always will be a bit of a joke.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so more points of the case for Christ for sure, and one of my favorite ones. Maybe not about the movie, but just in general, one of my favorite ones that, in fact, it was probably the one thing as a young Christian boy myself. I wasn't really a boy. I was more like a young adult when I became teenager, late, like 17 years old when I really technically started going to church for the first time. But during that time, it was all these testimonies of all these miracles that I was like, oh my God, it must be real. But what's really funny is, there, all the really crazy miracles where people got, like one leg grew out longer than the other or whatever, all these weird things, no one ever saw. They only heard the stories. But a miracle of, I just got, $1,000 right after my truck broke down, that's not a miracle. I mean, it's a thing, but it's like, but the thing is, that was the proof. One of my best friends for a long time, who was in a Christian ministry together for years, Steve Russo. He said, he goes, "How can you possibly deny Christ? I mean, just seeing all the miracles that has been done in His name.
Miracles prove the message.
Miracles prove the message." And I'm thinking, you have never read the Old Testament, have you?
Hebrew Scriptures. You're right.
Yeah. Hebrew. Thank you.
And they never do.
Right.
They never do.
Yeah.
You know, William, you're got these phenomenal, fabulous videos with some phenomenal, fabulous people. You're about to build a building to do it even better.
Mm-hmm.
But don't you sometimes get so frustrated and so tired of the stupidity that's out there?
From time to time, and usually it's not as a general overview. It's more on an individual basis. And the times that I get aggravated with it is whenever you're talking with somebody who they seem to be questioning, like actual questions, like genuine questions, and then you give them an answer, and 3 minutes later they go right back to that same verse again, like they never heard you.
Right.
You know, those are the ones that really...
And they never do hear you. That's the problem. You know, they have to open up their own hearts to it, and most of the time they are not. And even if they ask you questions, their hearts are not opened up to your answers. I just find it sometimes to be very, very frustrating and very, very frustrating. I don't know what else to say.
Sure.
Embittering.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Here's something I'd like for your further clarification on. We just passed over Passover. Well, we just passed Passover. We didn't pass over. We did it. Okay, so Pesach was just here, and like I said many times, that the one thing that led me out of idolatry was Pesach, was a study of Passover, and a study of what Christians call Easter. And so what I've heard and I've seen a few times, but for some reason it's not baked in on the complete understanding. You know, I've seen it because I've talked with like Rabbi Singer, and he would say, "See, look at this verse," and I was like, "Oh, I see it," but then like that was like 6 months ago, and I kind of forgot what that was. Could you explain to us how the lamb was a pagan god, was one of the Egyptians' gods? Could you explain how that works?
Well, I'm not sure I can explain paganism. All right, okay. All right.
That's funny.
First of all, let's go back to early Genesis.
Okay, let me pull this up too.
Or not early Genesis, but let's go back earlier than Exodus, back to Genesis, is what I mean. Joseph has revealed himself to his brothers, and he's about to introduce his brothers to Pharaoh. And of course, you're going to say, "Give me a chapter and verse." So let me try to find it here.
While you're doing that, I'm actually setting up a screen so it'll be easy for everybody to see us all at the same time. So let's see. Let me get you on here. Pardon me. You moved your chair, by the way, didn't you? You just shifted a little bit.
Oh, here. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go further.
Yes.
Here we go. Okay. Genesis around 45. Let me see.
All right, let's see. Why are you giving me an update? Not now. Okay, Genesis 45 coming up
roughly.
Now.
I still haven't found it exactly.
Okay, and we'll put this in English so we can
wait, maybe 46.
All right, let's see. King James. King Jimmy. Too bad we don't have the old 1611. Oh, yeah. Right. Israel took his journey with all that he had. Okay. And then these are the names of children. So the Simeon. Okay. Sons. And he sent Judah before him unto Joseph. Keep going.
Totally irrelevant to our conversation, but Genesis 46, verse 27. And all the souls of the house of Jacob which came into Egypt were 70, meaning 70.
Right.
And the New Testament says it was 75.
Yeah, no, that's really great. I totally love it. Of course, they explain it. That's what's really weird. They try to, they try to not twist. Yeah, they try to add and I don't know. They try to make the 75 work.
All right, I got it. It's the very end of chapter 46 of Genesis.
Okay, there we go. Got it. What verse? 34?
verse 33.
33, got it. Put it up down.
And it shall come to pass when Pharaoh shall call you and shall say, what is your occupation? And then verse 34, then you shall say, thy servant's trade has been about cattle from our youth even until now, both we and also our fathers, that you may dwell in the land of Goshen, for every shepherd is an abomination unto the Egyptians.
A shepherd, not the sheep, but the shepherd.
Why?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Because a shepherd who takes care of the gods
okay. But see, that's why I was confused, because it's not cut and dry. In the ancient world, the symbols for the gods would be able to wander around wherever they want to. They're gods. Okay.
Okay. How do you would a god like to be shorn, given a haircut?
Well, of course, no. Okay.
Okay. In other words, the shepherds who take care of the sheep, they are fooling around with the gods of the Egyptians by taking care of the sheep. Gods don't have to be taken care of.
Okay, but see, you could really say that you're really reading into that, though.
Not okay. Let's say
I'm just being fair. You know what I'm saying?
I don't see how I'm reading into it. I think that's just the way it was. Why else would they?
It could be, yeah.
If they worship the ram, the lamb, those animals, okay, then why would they want? Why would it be a big deal to them to say you're a shepherd? It only makes sense to say that you don't mistreat my God in front of me. But okay, let's say I'm reading into that. Okay. By the way, if you take a look at Genesis 47, okay, when Pharaoh said to his brothers, this is verse 3, what is your occupation? They said unto Pharaoh, your servants are shepherds, both we and our fathers.
Okay.
In other words, they didn't go for this Uncle Tomism, this Jewish Uncle Tomism of hide who you are, but rather they said, we're shepherds. As soon as they were asked, they answered honestly. So Joseph was hypersensitive. Okay, fine. You want to say I'm reading into that? That's great. Okay.
I love you.
What?
I love you.
Yeah, I love you too. Okay, so jump to Exodus.
Okay.
Okay. And let's say, I don't know, I got to find it now too.
That's okay. We've got time.
I've never been able to memorize chapters and verses and just come up with the chapter verses, stuff like that.
Jacob Daniel, great question. We'll cover that right after this.
Okay.
Remember this, Rabbi? What is more important to Christianity, resurrection or the ascension? Wait, no, you mean the death or the ascension or resurrection? Yeah, whatever. Okay, any of those three. Okay, good. We'll get that. That's a great question.
Okay.
I'd rather you guys call in, guys. There's a phone number, man. Give us a call. Say hi. Even if you don't have a question, you can just say hi. Tell me if you hear an echo on your side. Let me know if I fixed it. Or actually, if Jason fixed it for me. He's such a mensch. Good job. Okay. What are you finding? Anything important? Anything good?
I'm trying to find it. I don't know exactly where it is. Basically, Pharaoh says to Moses, okay, go out and do your sacrifice. And Moses' response is,
yeah, that's a good one.
If we sacrifice the lambs,
you will surely kill us.
In front of the Egyptians, they'll stone us.
Yes, find that one. That's a great one right there.
That's a quick way to find it. Look up the word stone.
Shalom and welcome to the show. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from, and if you hear an echo.
No, I can't hear an echo. This is Alicia Akers.
Hi, Alicia. How are you? Tell your husband he's the man. When it comes to computers, he's just like the whiz kid. Amazing.
Oh, wonderful. I'll let him know. So my question, I think that my husband and I were talking about, in the New Testament, it talks about how mankind will be resurrected into his body when in the millennium, I guess, or in the world to come. It talks about that in the New Testament. I've heard some of the rabbis talk about this, and that's how in the world to come, humans are given their reward when their soul is reunited with their physical body. And so, one thing we're talking about is, well, obviously, the world can't hold but so many humans on it. So is that the state that they're going to be in? What do the rabbis say about that? What kind of commentary is on that? I know there's not a lot in the Tanakh necessarily, but going from, in Corinthians it talks about the reuniting of the body resurrected, some to die and some for everlasting
Right.
righteousness.
Shame.
You know,
Right.
just from a Jewish standpoint, what is said about that?
Frankly, not a whole lot.
That's what I was going to say.
You're going
Yeah.
to get you're going to get references in Jewish literature about the afterlife, and one reference can completely contradict another reference. You'll have varying approaches to exactly how things happen and what happens after death. Okay, and at the ultimate resurrection, you'll have differing opinions on what order these things occur in. I'm not saying the literature doesn't exist. What I am saying is that Judaism, the thrust of Judaism, is not really about the afterlife, how to get there, what happens there. It's how to live this life. Okay,
Right.
you know, read the Bible. It's not going to be about if you want to go to heaven, here's what you do, A, B, C, D, E, and lists like that. You're not going to find that in the Tanakh. What you're going to find is, you know, statements about how to live in this life. You're going to get later rabbinic literature based on varying texts of the Nach, of the prophets and the writings, where they make statements about the afterlife and about the end of days and about the interpretations of the coming of the Messiah, and then what happens in that order. And I'm not saying that doesn't exist. It's just that's not really the thrust of what Judaism is all about.
Dave Marshall just said, "I believe in a spiritual resurrection, not a physical resurrection." Call me
Right,
call me out, of course.
But Judaism believes in a physical resurrection.
Yeah. It's just not talked about. It's not their focus.
Wait, William, it is talked about. Okay, but you could have one person who says, okay, the Messiah comes, there's a resurrection of the dead, there's a judgment, there's a battle of Gog versus Magog. Okay, you can have another rabbi who says there's a resurrection, but first you have the Messiah come, then there's a battle, differing orders of things and when they occur.
Where does it say in the Nach or in Tanakh at all, where it talks about a physical resurrection? Is
the
it like
prophets, if you give me a chance, I'll have to look it up.
That's okay.
Okay, again, by the way, the reference I was talking about earlier is Exodus chapter 8,
Okay.
verse 26. And Moses is allowed by Pharaoh to go out into the wilderness and sacrifice the animals. And then Moses says, "It is not agreeable for us to do so, for we shall sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians to the Lord our God. If we sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians before their eyes, will they not stone us?"
But it says the abomination, not the God of the Egyptians.
No, but that's Moses is speaking about the God of the Egyptians. To Moses, it's an abomination.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, wow, that's pretty freaky, man. I never seen that
And he's saying
before.
this directly to Pharaoh, who would believe in it. It's like, me talking to a church and talking about their dying, saving man God. Okay, but anyway, we'll come back to Exodus 8:26. Let's talk about the
Okay, back to the afterlife. Yes.
Okay, but give me a second because I'm going to have to bring this up. I hope I have enough memory in my computer to be able to handle this.
Alicia, if you want, we can disconnect and it'll open the phone lines up. Okay, you just listen in. Thank you for calling in.
All right, but it's explicitly clear. I mean, you can't. Here, let me find it.
Okay.
Okay.
Got to be. Anyway, so okay, I want to go back. Okay, so where did it go? Where'd it go? The question about what's more important. I'm just going to kind of dabble in this while you're looking for that. What's more important to Christians, the death and resurrection or the ascension?
In Christianity, there's a specific statement that if Jesus is not resurrected, then the whole of Christianity is nothing. Words to that effect. So from a Christian viewpoint, based on the New Testament verse there, clearly the more important thing is the resurrection, because to Christians, especially early Christianity, it was the story of the resurrection that proved Christianity to be correct.
And if that's the case, and we know that that is the case with them, then you would think that the New Testament authors would have been a whole lot more careful on documenting when they thought he resurrected.
Right. Well,
You know, there would be
or
witnesses.
having
Oh,
a
this was
story.
definitely
Remember something? The
2,
earliest-
3
the
agree. Woohoo! But they don't.
I'm sorry. What?
Go ahead.
I was talking over you. I didn't hear what you just said.
Oh, that's okay. I said you would think that they would at least have, 2 or 3 agreeing points, but they don't. They they don't know what the story is. One has a day off. One's this. One's that. And at the end of the day, he was only in the tomb for he was only on the cross for 6 hours. 3 hours in one book, 6 hours in another. So doing the math,
Right.
the chances of him dying from that execution was virtually impossible. It was a 3-day process. They would break their knees out on the second day to try to make sure they were dead by the third day as a process. Okay, I'm going to take this call while you're still looking.
Wait. Let me handle this
1, 2,
first.
3, 4. What's that song you sing all the time?
Isaiah chapter 26, verse 19.
Okay,
Isaiah chapter 26, verse 19.
Yeshayahu 26:19. Got it.
Your dead men shall live together with my dead body shall they arise. Awake and sing, you that dwell in dust, for your dew is as the dew of herbs, and the earth shall cast out the dead. How much more clear can you get?
Yeah, I'd have to say
Daniel 12, verse 2, which is the reference that she was talking about.
Okay.
And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
Daniel 12:2, you said?
Daniel chapter 12, verse 2, but let me point something out. Okay, it doesn't say some to everlasting life and some to eternal damnation and torture.
Right.
It says some to shame and everlasting contempt.
Right.
Okay, the descendants, I hate to keep using this,
Fear
but
factor.
I will. Okay, Hitler's family were ashamed of him. All the descendants of his are going to be ashamed of him. The world, if they want to create the epitome of evil, okay, they cite Hitler. So for eternity, he's going to be treated with contempt. His memory will be treated with contempt. It doesn't say he's tortured for eternity.
Right.
Okay. Remember, we're talking about average people here, not a Hitler.
Gotcha.
Okay. Ezekiel 37, verse 12 through 13.
Ezekiel 37.
Okay. Ezekiel 37, dry bones.
Okay.
Prophesy and say to them, thus says the eternal God, behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. And you shall know that I am the eternal when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves. Isaiah 43, verses 5 through 6. Fear not, for I am with you. I will bring your seed from the east and gather you from the west. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from afar and my daughters from the ends of the earth. Also interpreted by some to be talking about resurrection. But
Nice.
Isaiah 26:19, Daniel 12:2, okay, Ezekiel 37, 12 to 13, the dry bone. This is all easily, simply, literally, Peshat understood to be talking about resurrection of the dead.
Gotcha. Wow, this is crazy. Okay, so let's take this caller. Caller, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, Jay from Alabama.
Jay from Alabama. How are you, sir? Welcome back.
Pretty good.
What's the question for Rabbi?
Question has to do with Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 23 through 24.
Deuteronomy 22.
If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed, is that the one?
Yeah, it's basically saying that the rape victim, the female, is to be stoned along with the rapist just because she didn't cry out.
Wait a minute.
I was a little bothered about that. It sounds kind of cruel, so I was hoping there was
Sure.
a better
Yeah, wait a minute.
explanation.
Give me the citation again.
Closed or telling
Hang on
her
a
he
second.
would kill her if she screamed.
Okay, Rabbi, Deuteronomy 22,
Okay, that's what
verse
I'm
23.
Deuteronomy.
And 24.
And verse 23 and 24. If a damsel that is a virgin, let me put it on the screen here. There we
I'm
go.
going to hang up and listen.
Okay, thank you, Jay. Okay, if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto a husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then you shall bring them both out unto the gate of the city, and you shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she did not cry out. See, that's
Right.
what it is, Jay.
The issue is, where was she found?
Yeah.
Where did this occur at?
Yeah.
Okay, if they were in the city, people would have heard her if she screamed.
Yeah.
The issue is, was she committing adultery?
Right.
Okay. The issue is, was she, going along with it?
Right.
Was she a willful partner in it?
I mean,
in the city, if she cried out, then she'd have been heard,
yeah.
and people would have come to help her and save her. Okay, but if she didn't cry out, then it can be assumed she's a willful partner of this, and therefore deserves the stoning.
This statement here, because she cried not, is an absolute statement saying, well, she didn't cry out. This is why, right?
My text, Deuteronomy 22:24, because she cried not, being in the city.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And the man, because he has humbled his neighbor's wife,
Right.
so you shall put away evil from among you. In other words, they were both complicit in the adultery.
But mainly, she didn't cry out. It wasn't like, help, somebody's raping me. She was consensual.
But look at 25. If a man finds a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die.
Right.
But unto the damsel, this is now verse 26, but unto the damsel you shall do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death, for as when the man rises against his neighbor and slays him, even so in this matter. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, but there was none to save.
Now here's the thing. How do you know the damsel cried? Okay. Now furthermore, if a woman was smart and she wanted to be adulterous, and she would actually go out into the field and do it, not allow it to happen in the city, so that if they did get caught, she would be innocent. How do you deal with something like that, where you have a plotted out event, so that how does that happen?
People can do things in secret and private and plot out things all over the place, and this is not in a case of if nobody knows about it or nobody finds out about it. This is a case of if it's found out, then they have to assume if she's in the field, she did cry out.
Right.
But if she's in the middle of the city and nobody went to save her, she did not cry out.
Right.
These are assumptions that they made.
That makes sense. Very good.
And I'm sure that they would pull in, look, they're not stupid.
Yeah.
If it was in the city, they would pull their next door neighbors. They'd say, did you hear breaking dishes? Did you hear something that sounded like a fight? It doesn't begin and end with these verses. But these verses are the baseline.
Right. And I think the Midrash talks about the whole concept too. Doesn't it say something about there has to be like 2 or 3 warnings, and they have to have? Well,
no, that's warnings or witnesses.
Witnesses, yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Right, because that's actually in the Torah. There have to be witnesses.
Right. Okay. Cool.
2 separate witnesses, as I recall.
Okay, man, I'm so excited we don't have echoes on the phone. Jason, you made my day. We struggled for this for 2.5 weeks.
Wait. What did you say? Say.
It was really bad from what I heard. I mean, you think you have a hard time hearing voices? Really? It's like
I didn't know that.
When I grow up, I want to be an echo. Howie Mandel, 1980 something.
Okay.
All right, cool. Okay, so it's 5 till 9, and I'm not ready to go yet.
Because
we started at 15 after. We're going to go at least till that, maybe another half an hour past that if you guys have got questions, but you got to call in. It's hard to.
Wait.
Rabbi is reading chat, so that'll help.
Let's see.
Anytime. Okay, I'm going to call you at 3 a.m.
Dave said, I believe in spiritual resurrection, not in physical resurrection. I got that reversed. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Okay. By the way, remember something. Nobody has died
and come back to tell about it.
And come back to tell us.
Right.
All of this, everything, every single thing everybody says about what exactly happens in the afterlife and what happens in which order when the Messiah comes, it should be soon in our days, is conjecture.
Right.
That's why you can have a wall full of books on the subject, each one disagreeing with each other. Okay, and every one of them based on biblical rabbinic interpretation. Okay, but this is why Judaism is so brilliant, because it doesn't spend its time in conjecture. Some do, most don't. Mm-hmm. And it's really about how to live in this world, How do we obey God's commandments in this world? How do we bring God and the divine and the spiritual into our daily mundane lives? So they can argue all they want about what kind of resurrection, when does it happen? Go right ahead, enjoy yourself. It's not really one of the most important concerns that Judaism has.
Right. Somebody wants to call a number. I just put it on your screen, by the way. Oh, why is it not typing? What happened? Let me try that again. 85. Oh, there it goes. 9524253. Okay, cool. Somebody's gonna be calling.
By the way, how come you don't have a 855-95 Bible? 855-95 Bible. Okay.
I think we do have one now. I just recorded that.
855-95 Bible.
Oh, this is cool. Okay, this is totally off topic, waiting for a phone call to come in. Real quickly, just to let everybody know.
Wait, what were we were talking about something before.
Yeah, but now I'm derailed, so let me finish.
Okay, forget it then.
No, we'll come back to it. Okay, so for all the viewers out there, most of you are on Facebook. You saw my post. A good friend of mine, Dennis Humphrey, who's on Facebook, has been working with me for the past year trying to figure out how to get Tanakh Talk on Roku and some other streaming devices, and he managed to secure a website. He created a website called Tanakh Talk Network.com, and that website will actually be a channel outlet with. It's going to be kind of like a TV station where you're going to have all these different channels. One channel for Rabbi Singer, one channel for Rabbi Federow, one channel for Rabbi Skobac, and so on and so on and so forth. So you can go to that one website and access all of this type of topical videos.
What is the website?
Tanakh Talk Networks. TanakhtalkNetwork.com, and he's already paid for the what do you call it, the website domain name, but now he's got to create the website, but he's already got it underway, and he's already downloaded like hundreds of videos. Okay, why am I hearing both these call-ins? I'm going to stick with this one first. Okay, we're going to take this call. Caller, welcome to the show. Tell us your name. Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm Ellie from Iowa.
Hi, what is your name?
Sally.
Sally, welcome to the show.
What I'm calling about isn't the Book of the Dead from the Egyptians.
I saw that question up here. Let me go up. Let me see if I can find that.
Spoke about resurrection, that a person had to be judged for 3 days. Isn't that more in sync with Paul's ideal scenario versus Judaism?
Oh, there it is right there. Noah Global, is that you? I bet that's you. Okay, it says, doesn't the Book of the Dead from the Egyptians mirror the early Coptic Christian
influence Paul? It wouldn't surprise me, but that's beyond my scope. I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Pretty wild for sure.
So, they said the person had to die, and everyone came around with flowers and everything after they were prepared for death. And then they had to be judged for 3 days in their so-called hell before they went on to the next world.
By the way, I think when Noah Global wrote that, he said mirror the early Coptic Christianity. I think he may have meant Gnostic Christianity, but I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure what he meant. I'm just guessing. But either way, it's beyond my scope. I don't
Gotcha.
know.
That's a great question, Osai. Thank you for the question. I appreciate it.
What was her question, though?
It was basically what you read on the screen. I think Sally is Noah Global. Doesn't the Book of the Dead, you've read it already, mirror the early Coptic Christians and influenced Paul? So it's highly probable. I mean, pretty much most of the New Testament concept in the sense of, the demigod and other things come from, other pagan religions. So, including the birth dates as far as Jesus goes and stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me at all. So, sorry, if you call in whenever another caller is already connected, I can't take your call. I'm going to have to shoot you to voicemail. So you can either leave a voicemail or you can just hang up and try to call back after there's no one on the phone. So, unfortunately, that's just the way it goes for now. I'll learn the software again a little bit more later. Let me see if there was actually a message here. This was tonight. Let me play this and see what this is.
Hi, Hi, I was just trying to call into the show. I guess I'm not sure what happened. You can give me a call back at 813-5.
That is too bad. I can't call you back. If you
Call
take
back in.
if you take the time to leave a message, leave your actual question on the message, and we'll play it live on the air. Okay. So really sorry. I wished I could call you back, but my system won't allow me to make outgoing calls.
Fernando Colon. Question. How
Fernando,
will the
shalom, my brother. Fernando Colon. Okay. And his question was?
How will the coming of the real Messiah end the corruption in so many governments in the third world countries? Quite simply, if it's really the real Messiah and the real Messiah has God behind him, working with him, through him, everything and anything is possible. The whole world is supposed to be able to recognize, hey, this is it. This is the real guy. This is the real thing. Not just a little group of people who are, missionized by the little group of people who are the one person's disciples, but the whole world is supposed to be able, through each individual's own perceptions, know this is the real Messiah. And if God is behind the Messiah, then the Messiah should really be able to do what needs to be done, including making the governments of the third world countries stop being corrupt and start obeying Torah.
Right. Well, there's another phone call. Looks like we've got it hot tonight. Welcome to the show. Tell us your name. Where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, hi, my name is Nick from Florida.
You're Nick?
Yes, sir.
Nick from Florida. Welcome to the show. What's the question for Rabbi?
Well, first I just want to tell you guys I'm getting a significant amount of echo, actually. I'm hearing myself back.
Really? Just now? I wonder if my camera kicked. It won't be anybody's fault but mine. That must be my camera must have kicked back in again. One way to get around that is just to unplug that dadgum thing. Let's see. Rabbi, go. Okay, hang on one second. I tell you what. Put the earpiece away from your ear and just talk into the phone. Ask the question to Rabbi. Give me and y'all give me about 30 seconds to unplug this camera because that's where it's coming from. So, Rabbi, go ahead and talk to the Rabbi.
Hi.
Okay. Hi, Rabbi Federow. Actually, we've spoken a little bit before on the telephone.
Great.
I'm involved in the leadership for a synagogue, a very small synagogue in a very small town in Florida, and we have kind of a unique situation where we have a Christian who is he's been coming to our services for a number of years, and he's a very nice, sweet man. He acts in some ways as a bit of a sexton for our synagogue. He does some things, cleaning up, and these are all things that he's volunteered to do. He deals with some small, taking the trash on Shabbos,
right,
dealing with the electricity and so on and so forth. But some of our congregants have expressed their concerns. For example, let me give you an example. He came to our Seder in black and was overheard telling some congregants, well, I'm wearing black because like dress for a funeral, because in commemoration of Jesus being killed.
Wow.
And
in other words, it's a subtle form of missionizing.
Can I read you a small thing, because I'm on the ritual committee, and one of our congregants brought up
is
these
this
questions.
something you wrote?
Huh?
I don't know what you're
reading.
reading.
It's an email I received from a congregant that essentially asked some questions like, what she was saying, what he believes that Jesus is Hashem. He, would it be of concern to us if he were praying for us to be saved during our services and so on, in his own mind. And the question essentially was, she wants us to ask this man to leave and no longer attend our synagogue. And we've received some requests like this in the past from other congregants, and we've the leadership, a lot of us have sort of stood up for him, saying, hey, he does a lot. He comes to services more than, probably more than most of our Jewish congregants come. He contributes a lot of money. He's done and he's a wonderful guy, and he's not a missionizer, but
that's what you think.
Well, I mean, he's been several years. He's never really indicated anything.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think he has to do in order to missionize? Bat you on the head? Put a knife behind your back? You don't realize that when he says, I'm wearing black because my Lord and Savior died for my sins, you don't think that's a form of missionizing you when he says this to you?
Right. It's like a one-on-one type thing. It's called friendship evangelism is what they call it.
I guess that's what I'm asking.
It's either called bridge strategy evangelism, friend strategy evangelism. There's a number of ways of doing it. In other words, he's making himself so convenient to you to use him. Mm-hmm. Okay, first he's ingratiating himself with his targets. By the way, that's you. Mm-hmm. He's ingratiating himself with his targets so that it becomes more convenient to have him around than it is to lose him. And then he's subtly individually missionizing people in very subtle ways.
Rabbi, I'd like to say something in agreement with what you're saying.
Fascinating. I've never heard of that before.
Now, here's something I was thinking.
You're the target.
Here's something I'm thinking too. If he's been there for several years, right, and you've never witnessed anything, then but you have witnessed him talk to you personally by you questioning him, and he's only doing it that way. Imagine how many people in your synagogue he's done the same thing to. It's not just one person he's sharing his thoughts with, and it's not going to be publicly because he'll get kicked out. It's going to be slow friendship evangelism, is what the Christians call it.
It's going to be behind the scenes. It's going to be very subtle.
He's paying his way to try to make sure he's got a platform
in the synagogue to the concepts of Jesus.
I'm sorry. The connection is very poor. It's hard. Can you repeat that, please?
Rabbi?
What I said was, go ahead, William. You talk first.
Oh no, I think he was wanting to hear what you had to say.
What I was saying is that he's doing this behind the scenes. He's planting seeds of faith. Okay, mustard seed of faith in people. He's slowly introducing them to the theology behind Jesus as Christian Messiah.
Oh, that's okay. You think he sees a faith with an F, faith?
I couldn't hear you.
Faith. You said seeds of faith.
Sowing seeds of faith, his faith, to you and to your congregant members. And that's going to stimulate questions later on. And then when they fishing, it's fishing.
I'd love to know, sir. I'd love to know exactly what he's saying to your children when you're not there to listen. I'd like to know what conversations he's having with people.
That's good. I'll tell you something. There was a story I heard one time. It's kind of off point, but there's an aspect of the story that really makes a lot of sense. There was this woman who went to her spiritual leader, said her and her husband was fighting all the time, and she wanted to fix. He said okay, go out to this witch doctor and he'll tell you what to do. So she goes to the witch doctor, and the witch doctor says, I need you to I've got this powder potion, but you have to mix it with lion's milk, like a lioness milk. And you mix the two together and you drink it, problem solved. So she's like, oh, thank you. So she goes out to the wilderness and spends months and months slowly getting closer and closer and closer to these lions, to where eventually she's able to sit amongst them and actually pet them. So she goes back. Okay, you don't need to hear the rest of the story. Well, actually, the point of that part.
No, I understand completely. I understand completely what you're driving at.
Awesome.
That's really fascinating.
Okay, awesome.
But I really appreciate it. Yeah, this is very. I'm not familiar with any of this. This is very. Really opened my eyes actually to something I never really considered, and I'm definitely going to bring this back to the committee. We're going to be meeting this week on the subject.
Would you please?
I really appreciate you taking the time to explain.
Would you please do a Google search on bridge strategy evangelism and a Google search on friend or friendship strategy evangelism?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I'm writing all this down. Yeah. No,
please.
Yeah,
sure.
And call me again anytime you want. If I can talk, I will. If I cannot, leave a message, or else I will not know you called, and I will call you back. And William,
I have
now you understand why I get
really
so frustrated and bitter.
Right. Hey, one second. Caller, please tell me what was your name again? I usually write it down, but I did not write your name down. Nick. Oh, that's right, Nick. Okay, good. Nick, quick question for you. So have you been exposed to missionaries a lot or ever? This is like the first time you've been exposed to missionaries about the Christian scriptures?
I've been exposed only to missionaries. I'm involved with a 12-step program, so I've only been involved in the concepts of with people who are very very upfront and very abrasive, where they're saying, hey, if you want to recover from your addiction problems, you need to have Jesus in your life, and so on and so forth. So
okay, the reason why I ask is because there's a couple resources out, and this handsome rabbi right here has got a book. I'm showing it on the screen right now. It's called Judaism and Christianity: A Contrast.
Oh, I have this book. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
and also Rabbi Singer has got a 2-volume book set that's very extensive. I mean, it covers just about every aspect of Christianity you could imagine and tells you why it's bogus. So if you don't have those resources too, you might consider getting that as well. So it's called Let's Get.
No, I definitely have those. I'm really been a long-time follower of your show. And
wonderful. Thank you, Nick.
Because of my involvement with the 12-step programs and being exposed to a lot of heavy missionizing in that sense, I've tried to learn as much as I can about the arguments of essentially how to explain my own faith and why I cannot accept Jesus and that sort of thing. Yeah, I really, by the way, William, I just want to say I love your channel and thank you very much for everything you do. And Rabbi Federow, I thank you so much for what
Nick,
you do.
anytime. I'm a phone call away. You know that.
Right on. Nick, thank you so much, man. Good luck with everything.
Can I just ask one very brief thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
To Rabbi Federow?
Yeah, absolutely.
You had mentioned that you have a pamphlet. We're trying to develop some pamphlet for people that come to the congregation, essentially saying, if you're a visitor to our congregation, this is what you do in a Jewish congregation. I remember you had mentioned to me one time we talked briefly that you had something like that. Would it be
yes, I do,
and
for my synagogue. Yes, but Nick, you'll have to redo it for your synagogue.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Would you be able to post it or email or something?
Absolutely. I know I have your phone number, but I don't because I just looked. But can you email me?
I sure can. Yeah,
to make sure I have your email address.
You had stopped taking email, so I wanted to make sure that I talked to you before.
Or Facebook Messenger me. Okay, so I can get your snail mail address and mail some to you. I'm gonna have to find them, but
yeah.
Right.
We're having, like I said, we're having a ritual committee meeting this week, so I really needed to get some information on the subject before, but particularly about this particular guy, I really needed to know the right, some advice about it before we have the meeting, because we're going to decide whether we ask him to leave or not.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah,
I think it's
my hope is that
appreciate
you bet you, man. Thank you, Nick. Take care. Okay, that was a great question, because you know what? There's a lot of people out there who don't know.
But William, please understand. Okay, my book does mention bridge strategy evangelism, or friend strategy, or friendship strategy evangelism. Okay, but most books out there that are counter-missionary aren't going to be discussing the guy who pats you on the back and tells you what a great guy you are, and becomes someone who satisfies the needs. Like in this case, he's the janitor. He takes care of. They don't want to have to worry about fixing the chairs correctly.
Right.
They'll let him do it. So it becomes easy to keep him around while he does his wear black, so people can ask me why I'm wearing black, so I can tell them all about Jesus.
So Fernando Cullen, there's your answer. He said, Rabbi, please finish saying what makes you so upset about all the subtle evangelists.
No, excuse me. What makes me so frustrated is, with all due respect to Nick, I'm not saying this necessarily about Nick, but it's the stupidity of the American Jewish community that all they have to do is get somebody pat them on the back and tell them how wonderful they are, and we hate those Christians who did the Holocaust against you, and we will promise never to do it again. And they get invited into their synagogues, invited into their homes, and then they're planting the little seeds, the mustard seeds of faith.
Sure,
and the Jewish
sure.
community is too blessedly stupid to realize what's going on. That's what pisses me off.
I think it's naive. They're just not used to being exposed to missionaries.
No, because the Jews are nice people.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
my house will be a house of prayer for all peoples. Isaiah.
Right.
We're supposed to be welcoming and warm. We're supposed to be like Abraham, who had every side of his tent open, so anywhere he could see somebody to help, he'd run to help them.
Right.
Okay, we're very warm, accepting, tolerating people because we've had to be and because our religion demands of us to be. But, there's a limit. There's got to be a limit to this kind of, hey, come on in and kill me. Hey, come on in and, not my physical body, but you're going to kill my soul by converting me to pagan Christianity, dying, saving man gods.
Right.
And the Holocaust season, okay, as we come into the Yom HaShoah, the Jewish community is so vulnerable to this kind of stuff. Notice I'm really cleaning up my language here because you have no idea how it just makes me angry.
Yeah.
Okay, but we are so vulnerable at this time of year. Holocaust survivors who don't get it, okay, they're not young. I'm not blaming them, but pat on the back. We love the Jewish people. We hate the Christians for doing this to you. And the whole point is this friendship bridge strategy evangelism of endearing themselves, feeding the perceived needs of the target community. They need to hear us apologize for the Holocaust, so we'll apologize. They need to hear us say it'll never happen again, so we'll say it'll never happen again. They need to hear us celebrate the state of Israel, so we'll celebrate the state of Israel. All the while, they're ingratiating themselves for one thing and one thing only, and that's to missionize the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing but a technique, a strategy, and the Jews fall for it.
What's really interesting, too, is I've met a lot of people who said they were pro-Israel. And I was like, oh, that's great. But then the first time you start talking about the Jewish culture, they get all offended, like, oh, the Jewish people. I'm like, didn't you just say you were pro-Israel? They're like, yeah, the land, not the people. I'm like, oh my gosh. Those people like that, I'd have a shorter temper with because it's like they just, anyway. Yeah, I'll leave that alone. Andrea, let's see. I thought I saw a question.
I'm looking at internetevangelismday.com. internetevangelismday.com/bridge-strategy PHP. The bridge strategy, a way to reach millions. Bait the hook according to what the fish likes, not what the fisherman likes.
Yeah,
that's
right.
the proverb they quote.
Right.
Okay.
Yep, that's true. Friendship evangelism. I mean, that's something that they use. Even Christians use that when it comes to just winning anybody to them. Is don't preach at them, just be their friend, and every once in a while when you get the right opportunity, then say something. But by then you're already friends with them, and so you're not going to say go away from me because you've already made a friendship. So that's how friendship evangelism works.
Reading on this page, internetevangelismday.com, the bridge strategy in one sentence: be what they are searching for.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Be what they are searching for.
Be the volunteer that cleans all the toilets, who donates lots of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Give them money. Buy your way in.
Yeah.
Put them up on your pulpit. Parade them around. Let them wave their flags. We'll wave our flags on their pulpits, and they'll love us. Put our arm around them. Tell them we love you. We'll never let it happen again. If the Holocaust comes again, we'll house you in our own houses. Ha! I love it. And it just, this time of year, I just see this all over the place. And frankly, William, just today, I had just a loving, kind, nice, warm Christian neighbor of ours come to us to tell us they participated in a certain activity here in Houston, ending up at a large mega synagogue for Holocaust Remembrance Day. And they had a pamphlet, of who's speaking and what's going to happen and all this stuff. And I take a look, and one name jumps out of the page at me, and as a recognized Messianic, Christian missionary, Hebrew roots aficionado.
Right.
And I'm thinking, doesn't matter how often I speak to these people, doesn't matter what I say to them, they just go right ahead and invite them into their synagogues.
Yep, very true.
And it's so frustrating to me. I've spent.
Yep.
Yeah. At any rate, whatever.
So, guys, we got time probably for one more call. So, if you will call in here in the next few minutes, we'll take another good question, or if we see one pop up on the live chat. So, real quickly, I mentioned this book earlier. A lot of you have never seen this book or know about it. This is like a silver bullet. It's tiny, but man, it'll kill off the I almost said something I probably shouldn't have, but yeah. It's awesome. Get the book, Amazon. You can download it for very little to nothing on Kindle. Welcome to the show. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from, and if you still hear an echo. Well, now everybody's calling. I'm going to try something here. Hang on. Okay, answer and hold. I'm going to see if this actually worked. I did answer and hold, so we might be able to take 2 calls. Okay, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm Allie from Iowa.
Hey, Allie, back again. How are you? Yes.
I'm calling because there's a small Messianic group in our town with a very small conservative synagogue or temple, which is losing members all over the place. And the Messianic group is actually looking for Jews to invite to their Seder.
Of course.
On Shabbos. And how do you countermand this? I mean, how can you go up to a Jew and say they're not the real thing? I mean, how do you?
And the answer is that's exactly what you do. You there's a great analogy that is, talked about by Rabbi Tovia Singer. It's brilliant. He says he met somebody from the FBI who
yes.
investigates false
bills,
money, counterfeit money.
Yeah.
And he finds out, he says, well, how do you learn all about the counterfeits? And he says, you don't read what's the counterfeit. You don't study what's counterfeit. You study the real stuff so you know what to look for in the counterfeit. And what you have to do is you have to call it what it is and be vocal about it and say to people loudly and openly, they're not Jewish. They don't represent Judaism. They're teaching Christianity. And they are Christians in Jewish clothing, like a wolf in sheep's clothing. They're Christians in Jewish clothing. And you have to say it loud and make...
They
say it again?
go around wearing a salit.
They're wearing tzitzit and kippah yarmulkes.
Right. And that's the Jewish clothing that they put their Christianity in to make themselves feel more Jewish
and to
make themselves look more Jewish to their targets.
Because they have a lot of money to hand out pamphlets to invite Jews to their Seder. And we couldn't even get enough Jews in town to put together a real Seder.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's sad. We're in the dilemma of having not the funds to compete with them.
Right.
Wait, William, would you just repeat what you said?
She said it's kind of aggravating because, they've got all this money to dump into these little pamphlets to invite Jews to their Seders, yet there's not enough Jews that will show up at a synagogue to the real Seder. She said, how do you counter that?
That's right.
And the way you counter it, I know this puts a burden on you, and I'm sorry for it, but the way you counter it is to have people in your own home and advertise it, let people know it's there. And if you can seat them, first come, first serve, you bring them in and you show them what a real Seder is really about. And you also, also go to the internet and look up Messianic Seders or Jewish response to Messianic Seders. Rabbi Blumenthal, Rabbi Schulman, Tovia Singer, they've got articles on the internet that show the stupidity of Messianic Christ in the Passover Seders. Okay, print the articles, hand them out to Jews. Okay, there are.
It's a great point, because if you know they're going to be invited,
there are materials out there to help you, and I can send them to you. Okay, we're probably past the season right now, but this is there are things that you are a burden on you, and I understand that, but there's nobody else to do this except you, and you need to do as much as you can and be very vocal about them to your friends who are Jewish and to your friends who are not Jewish, who will support that kind of missionizing because they don't know any better either. You have to say, this is a gimmick to entice Jews to become Christians. This is a technique of Christian missionaries to missionize Jews.
And if you know they're going to be invited every year, then you have to start earlier than they do.
Right. And if you've got Christian friends who don't like them, and you'd be surprised, Christians who know Christian theology, who then examine and analyze Messianic theology, don't find them to be very Christian sometimes. If you can find them, you need to rally their support to your side. But you have to be vocal. You have to say things to people about they're not real Jews. They're fake Jews pretending to be Jews. Go ahead.
Allie, are you still with us?
Hi, how are you today?
Oh, I guess that's what she calls it. She must have hung up. Go right ahead. Tell us your name. Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Jake, and I'm calling from Coffman. I just wanted to say that basically my theory, I'm here to theory by the great Rabbi Eddie Clutch, and the theory is that Boban Marjanovic is the guy.
That's the same guy I called earlier. I need to block his number, but it's so funny when he calls though.
I can't even understand what he's saying.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, he's still singing, but no one can hear him. I'm gonna let him sing for a few minutes.
Hey, William.
Hang on, let me write his number down. I wanna,
yeah,
because honestly,
down and block
it's kind of cute, but
it's
kind of cute, but it does waste time.
It's not. I'm sorry, it's not cute. It's not cute. It interferes, and no, I'm sorry.
Right.
I may sound like a horrible human being, but yeah, he's wasting our time, your time too, and our listeners' times.
Right. Got it. Okay, so I'm going to see if he's still singing.
I am Go Boban.
He's still singing. Oh my God. That's funny.
Let him, but not on the air. He doesn't have the right to take over our show.
Yeah, and right now he's not. He thinks he may think he is, but he's actually, and no one can
William,
hear him, so.
Let him keep going. He'll tire out.
Yeah,
He'll
but then I won't be
realize
able to answer the call.
William, when we first approached a local radio station from my radio show.
Yes.
Okay, Southern Baptist minister, Roman Catholic priest, and me discussing the events in the news from our religious perspectives. He said that the most difficult thing we would have to do is to learn how to be not nice to our callers.
Right.
Some of whom are going to deserve that.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, there's another caller, I think. Let's see who it is. Caller, can you hear us? No, they hung up already. Okay, good. All right, caller, can you hear us? I found out a way to answer and put them on hold, but I don't think they hang around too long after that. I'm not sure why I can't hear them.
No. Yeah.
That's okay. Caller, are you there? You know what happens is they lay the phone down, they go watch the TV, or they watch the computer, and then they don't realize there's a lag in the video, like 20 seconds.
Right.
Caller, if you can hear me, turn your monitor down and walk over to your phone and pick. Never mind, we'll take this call instead. All right. What is this 8888 business? I don't get it. Let's see what happens.
We'll take this call instead.
Hello.
Right. 8888 business.
Hello. That is just too funny. Man, the phone's ringing off the hook. Okay, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name. Where are you calling from?
This is Ellie calling back from Iowa.
Oh, sure. Yeah, go right ahead.
Yes, hi.
We got lost.
I thought so, because you got really
asking
quiet.
is-
So tell us, what's up? Man.
We're trying to raise funds to teach the B'nai Noah laws. And I have all the booklets and everything, but they're expensive. So giving one away is like $5 a book. So
And they don't have to. They don't have, Ellie. They don't have to be expensive. They can be merely articles photocopied that you copy paste into a Microsoft Word file and just hand out to people.
Well, there's not enough of us willing to do all the volunteers. I have to pay people. And it gets expensive because you run into these church pastors and stuff. They're all really happy to see you in the community, but they make it impossible to talk to their own
Ellie,
people.
let me tell you. Let me tell you
we get
that whatever little bit you can do, whatever little bit you can do, whatever little bit you can afford, do it. Because I believe God will take what little bit you can do and get what you can do into the right hands who need to see it.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. No matter what little you can afford, do it.
But doing what I don't like the missionaries doing. I'm going up to non-Jews and asking if they want to be a righteous Gentile. And that makes you feel uncomfortable because we're getting the Messianic group going around walking up to Jews and saying, do you want to be a complete Jew, Alpha Shalom? Do you understand how hard it is to do that?
Right.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? We've had what?
I know exactly what you're trying to say, and believe me when I tell you, and you may have heard me discuss this tonight already, I feel your frustration. I can't begin to tell you how it frustrates me when I see all the missionaries having all the money they need and all the counter missionaries scrambling for every donation they can get.
Right.
All right. And if I ask permission to use the library, if I was for a Christian group, they get it free. They hear I'm Jewish and they want to charge.
So it sounds like she needs some advice.
By the way, if it's a public library, you need to go to the head librarian, the number one person who's in charge of it, and say, "Why is this fair?" You know, when they tell us it's not. Say it again.
If they think you're Jewish, they think you're a millionaire.
Yeah, because of the stereotype. If they had the same stereotypes against blacks that they have against Jews, the world would be up in arms against their stereotypes against blacks. But as long as they have the stereotypes against Jews, well, of course, that's okay.
Right.
Yeah, but how can we get more material available?
So what's the advice you would give? What's your advice for her, Rabbi, on it says if they are limited with funds, what is the best way that they can produce?
The best way, look.
For me,
photocopy.
That's what I was going to say right there. Photocopy.
Go ahead.
Yep, I was going to say it doesn't cost but pennies for, if you've got a grandson or a son or someone who has a computer, it takes nothing to type up a Word document, print up 100 copies of it, fold it in half, and hand out a folded up pieces of paper. It'll do the same job as a pamphlet will.
If you can get a hold of me, Allie, I have somewhere in my files. I certainly have them on my, on the table that you come to when you first come into my when you first come into my synagogue. Heading towards the sanctuary, there's a table with all sorts of stuff on it. One of the things on there is basically a quick response to Christian missionaries. okay, I'd be more than happy to send you multiple copies of that. I can't send you a lot, but there's a woman in my congregation who makes them for me, and I can certainly send you as many as I can send you. I don't know even how many I have, of that pamphlet, but they look like bookmarks, and they're printed on both sides of the bookmark.
All right.
Okay. There are articles I can send you that you can photocopy, take it to the Kinko's or whatever, and make multiple copies of, and hand it to people and get them. I have a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd be more than happy to send it to you.
And it
so
really,
you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
And it really doesn't take time. Oh man, the phones are ringing off the hook now. Okay, cool. Let's see what's going on.
And it's
Okay. How much longer can you go?
There's phone calls I have to call back.
Okay. All right. We'll make this the last call. Last question for the night. So, caller, please tell us your name. Where are you calling from?
This is Lou Kahn, Yardley, Pennsylvania.
Lou Kahn. What's up, my brother?
Hey, I heard that. My question is this: these missionaries, they seem to be pretty successful with some of these questions about, do you want to be a completed Jew? I mean, should we, as Jews that want to do kiruv, should we be asking the same question to Jews? Do you want to be complete? Do you want to be a complete Jew and learn how to keep Shabbos and how to keep kosher?
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Look, first, there's the number one first rule. Don't be a jerk. Okay?
Right.
Don't be a creep. Okay? It's very important. You make the offer, and if they say, well, I'm really not interested, walk away. But of course you make the offer.
Right.
Absolutely you make the offer.
Yeah, I like the way you kind of put that back on it, Lou, because it's like Rabbi Singer one time. I think I heard him say something to the regard of, you can't make a car complete by adding a fifth wheel to it.
Brilliant
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
He is so brilliant that.
No kidding. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Cool.
Yeah, I just struggle with trying to bring some of my friends who are not religious back to Torah, and it's a challenge. I mean,
right.
It is very much a challenge. Again, all I can feel is frustration. The best way you can show them and convince them is to be it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, is to role model it to them.
Yep. Very good.
Yeah, that's what worked for me.
Right on. Lou, I'm looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks, man. Got that testimony ready for you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. That's cool. So all you viewers out there, 36 of you are live right now. It's pretty awesome. I'll be doing Lou Kahn's testimony in a few weeks. I don't know when we pushed it back to you, but hopefully here within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So look forward to it, Lou. Take care, my brother.
Yeah, take care. All the best.
All right, that's awesome. Yeah, it's going to be cool, man. All right, so phone lines are officially closed. Logging out of Ring Central now. Man, that last run, there was like 15
wil'Liam,
calls, and it's
even
like
on my radio show, we get the most phone calls in the last 30 minutes of the show. I don't know why.
Right. Well, I think the reason why we did here because I said we were willing to go late as long as there were phone calls. Yeah, and you guys did a great job for sure. Man, I tell you what, it has been a really, really fun night. I have learned a lot from you, Rabbi, and I
hope so. I've learned from you. I always do. That's why I love talking with you.
Man, it's been fun. It's been fun. I look forward to seeing you next week, and we need to get you here sometime. I want to do Oh, you know what though? Actually, we could do that now because I'm going to be doing after this week. As of Wednesday night, I will no longer be inside the studio. I will actually be recording straight from my office, which is going to have a different feel to it, but it's going to work. I'll put a link to the relocation plans and stuff in this video after it uploads, so you can actually kind of watch the two. One video is 6 minutes, the other one's only like a minute and a half. But they're pretty cool, especially the minute and a half one is pretty neat. So, and when that time comes, that's when the in-house interviews are really going to be fun because we're going to have a lot more room, and it's going to be a permanent location. Baruch Hashem. So I'm looking forward to it. Rabbi, you are the man, I appreciate your time, and I love you, and I can't wait to see you next
I love you too.
week.
Can't wait either.
Yay. Shalom, everybody. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
I think I'm going to let you dance for a minute before I close out. We got to get you a set of finger puppets.
Yeah.
All right. Shalom, shalom.